Joe Lieberman was with me yesterday talking about the possibility of a strike in Syria, and that one is due, but it better be the right kind of strike. What would be more in order this go round?
Well, I think by using chemical weapons again, and in my opinion, again and again, Assad has shown that he didn't get the message. So I think for it to be effective this time, both in the interest of the people of Syria on a humanitarian basis, which President Trump has gone to, but also to make clear to the Russians and the Iranians, we're not going to sit back and let them come in and dominate the region. This strike by the United States and hopefully allies has to be stronger than it was last year and probably be a more sustained. I mean, I would, for instance, we have the capacity to knock out most of the Syrian Air Force.
All right, so just don't bomb them and leave them. Send a message that will rock them. Will the president's actions then be a lot different than last year? And is that what is taking the time here? To former Trump and Bush 43 State Department Senior Advisor Christian Whiton. Christian, what do you think?
Well, I think Lieberman has a point that we should do more than last time. I mean, the point is to deter the use of chemical weapons globally. Assad obviously didn't get the message. And, you know, if we're going to do more, we have escalatory dominance. We can take our time and do this right and degrade his ability to use chemical weapons. But, you know, what Lieberman is really getting at, and what McCain and Graham would love to do, other senators, is to get us into the Syrian civil war, to go after Assad, to do regime change, to get us enmeshed in another quagmire in the Middle East. And I think Trump is going to avoid that, and wise to avoid that.
Kristen, do you get a sense that the administration, though, is looking to coordinate this with others? But that's proving easier said than done. Now, the French have already volunteered that they would be part of any effort. I think President Macron has already confirmed that it looks to him, at least from their intelligence, that Syria did, in fact, use chemical weapons on its people gas, last week. Now, beyond the French, who else could be involved? The Saudis have expressed moral support. So, too, I think the Germans, the Italians. But what does that mean?
Yeah, the Germans, I don't think, will use kinetic means, but I think the French and the Brits are close to that. That's probably explains why there wasn't an immediate response. Right. We have a guided missile destroyer in the Eastern Med ready to go, but if you wanted a more comprehensive response, Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, is, I believe, running it by her cabinet, or already has today, will get support from her cabinet, probably does not need to run it by Parliament because her predecessor did that and lost the vote, unprecedented. So I think you're going to see sort of a coalition do this, and, you know, it'll be a strong message to dictators around the world not to use chemical weapons.
Is it your sense that the real problem here is Assad? He's still there.
No, you know, Assad is a terrible guy. He's a dictator. He's a thug. He's an animal. But, you know, so are some of his opponents, some of the other actors there. And our mission is to kill ISIS and move on. You know, there are bad guys around the world in a lot of places, and we are not a 911 service for the world. There's also, you know, an argument that if we weaken Assad, as Lieberman wanted to do, as he just argued for doing, that would actually prolong a war that's already gone on for 7 years and killed 400,000 people. And, okay, maybe we could get something more, but Assad's going to survive. He's survived this long. He's going to want a sugar daddy. His choices are the Russians, the Iranians, or both. And there's not a whole lot we can do unless we want to have some sort of D-Day style invasion there to change that factor.
Real quickly, the Russians have apparently cleared a lot of armaments out of the way of a potential strike, which seems to signal to some that they would stand back in that event. Now, last year, I believe we gave them a heads up on this. Would we do the same this go around?
I don't know about the heads up, but I think as far as staying out of the way, they don't want their minor naval presence and their S-400 aerial defense system targeted first by the United States, which we would if they threatened our planes. So I think they'll get out of the way and let us do what we need to do.
All right, Kristen. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your last name, Kristen. No. Whiton. Always good having you. You can just call me Neil Cav next time we get together. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
No problem, Neil. Thank you.